Good morning, and welcome to Creative Living Fellowship online Sunday service. Please join us in our opening song, Use Me.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth or the stars or all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. All that I'm saying is, command my hands. What must they do? Command my life. It's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. And God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Sunday morning service here at Creative Living Fellowship, our online Sunday service here at Creative Living Fellowship. I'm the Reverend Dr. Sherry F. McCreary. It is my pleasure and honor to be the senior minister here and to welcome you here. We are an independent religious science church, and we welcome all paths that lead to truth. Our deepest intention is to be a community of care, of love, of care, of connection that opens hearts, expands consciousness, and transforms lives. And we do that through the principles and the practices of the science of mind. I'd like to just stop for a minute and say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, all those who are birth mothers, adoptive mothers, stepmothers, those who serve in mother roles, those who are mothering and nurturing. Happy Mother's Day. Mother's Day is 107 years old today. It was May 9th, 1914, when Congress declared that the second Sunday in May would be Mother's Day. And President Woodrow Wilson just decided that this would be a day that we would honor the mothers in this country and honor the love and the reverence for mothers in this country. And so 107 years ago today, Mother's Day became a holiday. And so I wish you all a happy Mother's Day this day. So let's just take a breath together. Let me tell you who's with me today. We have our Sunday service team, who are, of course, Nicole Jordan and Deb Covington, and they are our AV team. And then we have on tech team today is Reverend Mary Jane Hyde. We also have two practitioners who are holding high watch for us today, and they are Peter Waring and Fran Peck. And what that means is that they're sitting in meditation and prayerful contemplation throughout this service, just holding a space for the perfect unfolding of our time together. I'd like to also thank Carrie Sherman, practitioner, who facilitated our meditation service this morning. Thank you so much, Carrie, for your service. As I thank all of you for the service here on Sunday mornings. This is what makes this service possible, the people who show up and say yes to serving on Sunday mornings. Our musical inspiration today is favorite friend, Charity Lockhart. So she'll be with us in a little bit. Right now, Nicole's going to bring us the announcements. And following the announcements, there'll be a brief gong wash. After the gong wash, there will be a few moments of silence, and then practitioner Jeannie Sarverns will bring us our reading and our evocation. But right now, here's Nicole.
Good morning, Creative Living Fellowship. It's my pleasure to be here this morning with you to bring you today's announcements. So, effective immediately, and for some time now, we have a new mailing address. It is 8050 North 19th Avenue, number 466, Phoenix, Arizona, 85021. If you haven't written it down, that's fine. You can also find it on our Facebook page, on our website, and also in your weekly newsletter. Meditation is a great mindfulness practice that helps us to be present in the now. Why not join us for midday meditation on Facebook to start or to support your meditation practice? Midday meditation is at noon, Monday through Thursday on our Facebook page. You can also join us in Zoom. And our practitioners hold a pre-service meditation at 9:30 a.m. in Zoom on Sundays. Get your community care and connection on with your CLF family and Reverend Sherry every Tuesday as she hosts a Zoom meeting at 6:30 p.m. This week, Reverend Sherry will be leading Conscious Conversation. And if you would like to suggest a conversation topic or activity, please email her at connect@creativelivingfellowship.com. We look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. We are so excited to offer the magic of Sanskrit mantras, the essence of prayer without ceasing. And it starts this Wednesday, May 12th, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. via Zoom. This 6-week series will be lovingly facilitated by Lena St. Michael. Lena is an interfaith minister, an agape licensed spiritual practitioner of 25 years, and yoga teacher who has been chanting Sanskrit mantras for 20 years. Lena is a member of the Agape Global Choir and has been mentored by internationally revered yoga masters, including Amma, the famous hugging saint from India, and Baba Hari Das. Let's find out more about her upcoming class.
Blessings, dear ones. What a joy. I'm so enthused to share with you the magic of Sanskrit mantras and the power of high volume repetition of sacred sound formulas for more focus, energy, health, and peaceful vibes wherever you are, anytime, anywhere, and in any situation. You'll discover how mantra japa with Sanskrit is pure application of universal principles, subtle body theory, and definitely I'll show you how it works with modern science too. I'll teach you at least 5 essential classical mantras. Don't worry, some are just one line long, and I will show you how to use a mala for counting. I'll give you lots of audiovisual resources too that'll help your practice and also your enjoyment. So join me, the magic of Sanskrit mantras. Namaste.
The class does start this Wednesday, so make sure you registered today. The link can be found in the comments on our Facebook events, on our website, or under classes. There are currently 3 vacancies on the CLF Board of Trustees. To support the continued growth of CLF during this transformative time, the Board of Trustees needs individuals with very specific skill sets who are committed, dependable, ready, energized, and willing to step into leadership. Is this you? If you are interested in serving CLF by joining the Board of Trustees, please complete the online application by May 19th. You can find the link in the comments or also on our website. Are you curious about becoming a CLF member? Are you sure that you want to become a CLF member? Or do you want to reactivate your membership? Well, that's great. The first step is to sign up today, letting us know that you're interested. Then we'll be in touch with you as soon as we have a new member orientation scheduled. Please use the link in the comments to sign up and let us know. Remember, you can use text to give to make your contributions to CLF. Simply text the amount you'd like to give to 602-610-1868. And if it's your first time donating by text, you'll be sent a link to set up your account. And then after that, it's as easy as texting the amount you would like to tithe to 602-610-1868. And CLF is a tithing church, which means that we tithe off of your donations. And our 2021 second quarter tithes will be going to Teen Lifeline, a connection of hope for Arizona teens. And speaking of tithing our quarterly tithes, we're always looking for more nonprofits to send those to. So if you have a nonprofit you would like to nominate, please use the link found in the comments to submit your recommendation. Our Sunday prayer room is available to you after service today. Get your after service prayer with a practitioner by heading on over to Zoom using the link provided in the comments. And for those of you in Zoom with us right now, you will need to use that Zoom link as well. Our prayer room will be in a different Zoom room than our Sunday service, so that way people can visit with Reverend Sherry a little bit after service. Prayer room participants will be transferred into a breakout room for a private session with one of our licensed practitioners. And after service, we still have Sunday fellowship. So join practitioner Jeannie Sovereigns in Facebook Messenger chat from 11:15 to 12:15 and hang out, discuss the service, what's on your mind or heart, or just connect with your CLF family. You can find the details for all of our events with their links on our website under events, under our Facebook events, posted in the comments, or in your weekly newsletter. That was a little bit of a tongue twister today. Well, that is it for today's announcements. It is now time to move on to our gong wash, followed by a moment of silence.
Good morning. Today's reading is Attracting Success, an excerpt from the Science of Mind textbook, page 301 to 302. Remember, God is the silent power behind all things, always ready to pour into our experience that which we need. We must have a receptive and positive faith in the evidence of the things not seen with the physical eye, but which are eternal in the heavens. The successful person should keep his mind on thoughts of happiness, which produce cheerfulness instead of depression. She should radiate joy and be filled with faith, hope, and expectancy. These cheerful, hopeful attitudes of mind are indispensable to the one who really wants to do things in life. Declare your freedom. Know that no matter what others may say, think, or do, you are a success now, and nothing can hinder you from accomplishing your good. All the power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and then act as though it were true. Begin to blot out one by one all false beliefs, all ideas that man is limited, poor, or miserable. Refuse to think of failure or to doubt your own power. See only what you wish to experience and look at nothing else. We are relieved of all thought of clinging to anybody or anything. Cannot the great principle of life create for us all that we need? The universe is inexhaustible. It is limitless and knows no bounds and has no confines. We are not depending on a reed shaken by the wind, but on a principle of life itself. For all that we have or ever shall need, it is not some power or a great power. It is all power. All we have to do is believe, never wavering, no matter what happens. As we do this, we shall find that things are steadily coming our way and that they are coming without that awful effort which destroys the peace of mind of a majority of the race. We know there can be no failure in God's mind, and this mind is the power on which we are depending. All right, let's take that in. Knowing that all power lives, moves, animates everything and everyone, and that I am one with this, that all present are one with this. This is divine source, the beloved mother, father energy that is present here and now. And I, Jeannie, speak my word into the law for the highest and best of this service, for all who are present here today, and for those that will hear this at other times. I know that the words spoken by Dr. Reverend Sherry are inspired and empowered by the all power. I know that the Divine Mother is here now, filling each heart with the nurturing spirit of love this precious Mother's Day. I know and affirm that this day is the day that God has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. This blessing, this love, this breath, this heartbeat blesses each and every person who participates. For the words we hear, the songs that are sung, and the love that we feel. I am so very grateful for these blessings. I am grateful for this, and I let it go now, release this word, knowing that it is already done in the mind of God. And for this I am grateful. And together we say, and so it is. And it is my great pleasure to introduce our inspiration and a beautiful mom, Charity Lockhart.
Look at me. Look at me. I am changing, trying every way I can. I am changing. I'll be better than I am. I'm trying to find a way to understand, but I need you. I need a hand. I am changing, seeing everything so clear. I am changing. I'm gonna start right now, right here. I'm hoping to work it out, and I know I can, but I need you. I need a hand. All my life I've been a fool who said I can do it all alone. How many friends have I already lost? Then how many dark nights have I known? Walking down that wrong road, there was nothing I could find. All those years of darkness can make a person blind, but now I can see I am changing, trying every way I can. I am changing, yes. I'll be better than I am, but I need a friend to help me start all over again. You all that'll be just fine. I know it's gonna work out this time, 'cause this time I am. This time I am changing. I'll get my life together now. I am changing, yes. I know how. I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna leave my past behind. I'll change my life. I'll make a vow. Nothing's gonna stop me now.
Wow. Wow. That's a real wow. Thank you so much, favorite friend Charity Lockhart. That's an awesome way to really power up our service this morning. When we're talking about expectancy, that's expectancy that she's singing about today. This is what expectancy feels like. This is what expectancy is all about. Just knowing that as we are changing, there's more and more and more, and that nothing can stop us. Let's take a breath together and breathe that in. Breathe the energy of that in. Thank you, Jeannie Sovereigns, for the beautiful prayer and the reading. This month, we're talking about the power in relentless expectancy. The power in relentless expectancy. And last week, we talked about expectancy. We defined it. We really got into the meat of expectancy. And today, I want to talk about the relentlessness of the expectancy. I want to talk about us having relentless expectancy. Relentless means it's never ending. It's ongoing. It's unyielding. It's nonstop. That's the kind of expectancy we have to have. That's the kind of expectancy we want. Expectancy being anticipation, excitement, exhilaration. And that's what we have to have. We have to have that kind of expectancy that's just over the top, always. And so I'm inviting you to really, really move into that place of being relentless with your expectancy. Last week, I invited everyone to start to use an affirmation every day of something wonderful is happening in my life right now. I know it, I sense it, I feel it, I expect it, and I thank God for it. And that's something we have to recite over and over again with feeling, with meaning, with gusto. Because that's where the creation is. The creativeness is always in the feeling. And so we have to put feeling into anything we're saying, feeling into what we're thinking, put feeling into our words so that we can move into that place of experiencing that which we desire. Ernest Holmes says that expectancy speeds progress. And so when it can speed progress when we are really in that place of feeling it, of feeling what it is we desire, of feeling the excitement of it, the exhilaration of it. And so that's what I invite you to do. Just say that affirmation over and over again with feeling, with meaning, and really expect it to work. Expect it to work. And Holmes also says it doesn't matter. We have to stay in a continual state of expectancy. It doesn't matter how much good we are experiencing now. There's always more. Expect to experience even more, even greater good tomorrow. And so that's what we are moving into and moving through this month as we continue to talk about expectancy. But today, as I said, we're talking about being relentless with that expectancy. And so my topic today is around every corner. Take a breath. Around every corner. And before I get into that, I just want to mention that right now we are going through in our world, in our country, going through a period of expectancy because the COVID numbers are going down, and more places are opening up. More and more people have been vaccinated, and more people are getting out, and people are beginning to feel that sense of expectancy about, wow, maybe we can. Wow. Maybe we can venture out. Maybe we're no longer bound to our homes or bound to solitude and whatever. Maybe we can have a sense of normalcy in our lives. Maybe our kids can go out. Maybe our kids can go back to school. So that there's an excitement in the air. There's expectancy in the air right now. And so the thing for us to do is to look for expectancy around every corner. Look for it in every aspect of our lives. Look for it in every aspect of our lives, not just one place over here and one place over there. No, we have to look for it in every aspect of our lives. We have to be open to it. Ernest Holmes says that a bucket turned upside down even in a cloudburst, cannot be filled. A bucket turned upside down, even in a cloudburst, cannot be filled. And what is happening when we have no expectancy? When we have no expectancy, that bucket is turned upside down. Expectancy turns our bucket right side up, and it can then be filled with the good that we desire and beyond. Because sometimes the good that we desire is limited, because that's what we know about. And so what expectancy does, it opens us up to all kinds of good. It opens us up to all that God has to give for us, all that God has for us, in store for us that we cannot even know. And so turn that bucket up, right side up. turn that bucket right side up and allow God to fill it. Allow God to fill it with all the good. And so I'm inviting you today I have 3 points that I want to invite you to really look at. And one of them is leave no stone unturned. Leave no stone unturned. As we go through our lives, and we're talking about expectancy, the expectancy of good, look for good everywhere. Leave no stone unturned. Look around every corner. Expectancy is the big and. Expectancy is always more. There's always more. Expectancy is yes and. Yes, and thank you, and that's what expectancy is like. So we're always looking around every corner for the good because we never know where it's coming from. We never know where it's we know where it's coming from. We never know where it's going to show up. We never know how it's going to show up. And so when we walk through that place with expectancy, we walk through that place always expecting, is it over here? Is it over there? It's kind of, as I always said, it's kind of like an Easter egg hunt. If you've ever done that as a kid, doing the Easter egg hunt, you look behind every little branch, you look behind every little bush, looking for that Easter egg, looking for that gift. Whenever I think about around every corner and really expecting good, I'm reminded of my little grand dog. I had 2 little grand dogs, Yogi and Sweet Pea. And Sweet Pea was very, very attached to Rachel, and he did not want her out of his sight for a second. So whenever she was home, he was always right where she was. She'd almost fall over him sometimes when she'd get up to go someplace or try to walk through the kitchen or whatever. And if he were asleep and she happened to walk out of the room and he woke up and she wasn't there, he was frantic. He would run around looking for her, and he would run around and look everywhere. He'd run through the room, and then he'd look behind the chair, and then he'd look under the chair, and then there were times when he would move the throw pillow in the chair and look under the pillow. And it was always so funny because it never occurred to him, obviously, that she was not under the pillow, that she was not under the chair, but he expected to find her. So he would race through the house, and we would laugh so hard at him because he never gave up hope. When he was looking for her, he looked everywhere. And so whenever I think about looking around every corner, I think about him. And it makes me smile because he had that expectancy that he was going to find his mom every time he was looking for her. He had that expectancy that he would find her. And then when he found her, he was just overjoyed, like he hadn't seen her in hours. And it could have just been minutes ago that she'd walked out of a room. That's the kind of feeling, that's the kind of excitement, that's the kind of exhilaration we have to bring into our own lives. That's the kind of exhilaration that we have to bring into our own sense of expectancy, our own willingness to be open and available to all the good that God has for us. Because just ask yourself this: if you're not expecting good, then what are you expecting? If you're not expecting good, what are you expecting? That's a question that you have to ask yourself. If you're doubting that you're going to receive good and you're not expecting good, what are you expecting? And if it's not good, then why? Why? That's the question that we have to ask. Why? And so Holmes says that we have to have a childlike faith and expectancy, and that we have to have a consciousness of childlike. We have to have a childlike consciousness of expectancy, so that we get that by identifying with that eternal essence that is God within us. So we have to have a childlike faith and expectancy, and we get that by identifying with that eternal essence that is God within us. We have to have this childlike consciousness that has never been caught up in the prison walls of experience. We have to have a childlike consciousness that have never been caught up in the prison walls of experience. Because, the experience can serve like prison walls for us, because we feel limited by the experiences that we've had. We feel limited by that which we know. We feel limited by that which has happened before. And as I've said before, and as Ernest Holmes says, principle knows no precedent. And so it doesn't matter what you've experienced before. It doesn't matter how things have gone before. We have to have that childlike faith. And when you think about children, it doesn't matter. They don't get caught up in failure. They don't get caught up in disappointment. They may be disappointed in the moment, but when the next thing happens, they're still expecting good. They're expecting whatever it is they're desiring. And there's a childlike faith that they have. And that's what we have to develop, that childlike faith, that childlike expectancy of good to come into our lives, because that is the way that God operates in our lives always. And so leave no stone unturned. Leave no stone unturned. Expect good everywhere. Expect good to show up everywhere. Look for it everywhere. Walk through your life with that sense of expectancy. And then the second point I want to make is don't allow yourself to be victimized by experience. Don't allow yourself to be victimized by experience, by what has happened in the past, by what has happened for somebody else. Don't allow yourself to be victimized by that, because we miss out on so much when we do allow ourselves to be victimized. And that's what it is. We start to feel like victims because things don't work out, because things aren't happening the way that we'd like them to happen, or because things aren't showing up the way we want them to. When we are in that, locked into that, what the experience has been, or what we can see with the physical eye as happening, then we're caught up in that victimization mode of experience. And so we don't want to get victimized, be victimized by our experience, because our experience also carries a lot of doubt with it. And we don't want to be victimized by our own doubt. We want to be open and receptive to just knowing that God works everything out. It's already worked out in the mind of God. And so being in that place keeps us in that place of expectancy, and it keeps us in that place of relentless expectancy. That place of relentless expectancy. Let's take a breath together. I got a call about 3 weeks ago from someone I didn't recognize the number when it came on my phone, and I generally don't answer those calls. I usually let them just go to voicemail. And for some reason, I picked that one up. I thought, let me answer this. And I answered it. And the person on the other end wanted to speak to Reverend McCreary. Well, I knew when she said that this is someone who didn't know me and who I didn't know, because people don't call me Reverend McCreary. And so I spoke with her, and she was telling me that she identified herself. She lived in New York, and her mother had lived in Florida, and her mother had passed away back in January, but they'd been unable to have any kind of memorial service because of COVID. They couldn't travel and all that. And the funeral, or the memorial service, was going to take place in Phoenix. So she needed a memorial service officiant to handle this memorial service for her mother. Now, she called me on a Tuesday. This was going to happen Friday at 11 o'clock. And I was not available at that time, but I was so surprised that she was talking to me, and she was sharing so much with me. And she said that she just knew that she was supposed to call me. And I said, how did you get my number? How did you find out about me? And she said, I Googled it. I said, what did you Google? She said, I Googled memorial service officiant in Arizona, and your picture came up. And I said, that's all you put in? And she said, yeah, memorial service officiant in Arizona, and your picture came up and your information came up. So I took a deep breath, because I was getting the feeling that God's fingerprints were all over this. So I knew that I needed to pay attention, because there's no reason that my picture should come up or my name should come up if someone is seeking an officiant in Phoenix, let alone in Arizona. But she said that my picture came up and my information came up. So she called me, hoping that I would be able to do this memorial service for her. So as it turned out, it was going to be on Friday. She wanted it was going to be at the National Memorial Cemetery, which is the military cemetery. And she wanted to know, could I please do this service for her? So I told her I was not available, but that I would I knew someone who could possibly handle it for her, and I would call her back. I took her number, and I called a friend of mine who specializes in memorial services. That's what he does a lot of. And he does a lot of the services at the National Memorial Cemetery. And I knew when I saw that name of that cemetery that this is the one that, because I'd never heard of it until he told me about it. And I called him and he said, I'm available on Friday. He said, and it's so funny because I was just praying that I would have more memorial services coming in. I have more opportunities to serve families by doing those services. And I really do like going to the National Memorial Cemetery. Did I say God's fingerprints were all over that when this woman first called me? Because this was already worked out in the mind of God. All she needed to do was to follow that guidance that she was getting, to Google an officiant. She Googled and got me. And then I called the person that I know, and everything worked out perfectly. He was available. He did the service. I connected the two of them. Everything worked out perfectly. But it was because she didn't get caught up in what the experience was like. She didn't know anybody in Phoenix. She didn't know how to do whatever. She didn't know it any minister. She didn't know if she could get somebody that late. And all those things, those questions that come up for her, and she just decided to try anyway. And she tried, and it worked perfectly, which is the way it always works, because that's the way God always works, perfectly. God always works perfectly. And so when we cannot be victimized by our own experience, by our own doubt, then we can just open up and just allow that bucket to be filled. Allow that bucket to be filled with the goodness of God. That's what we can do. And so let's just take a breath right now as we just feel into that. Feel into that bucket being filled. Just turning that bucket right side up and just allowing it to be filled with the glory and the goodness and the gifts of God, the blessings of God. That is how we can walk through our lives as we walk through with this sense of expectancy. So this third point that I'd like you to be with is create a space. Create a space for God to show up and show out in your life. Create a space for God to show up and show out in your life. And we create a space with our expectancy. When we are expecting, expecting good, we have all this space. We have all this spaciousness. And so when we create that space, when we open ourselves up, God just shows up. And when God shows up, God shows out. So determine, how do you create that space? How are you going to create that space for what it is you want? How are you going to create a space? How can let that be your constant question? How can I create a space for God to show up and show out in my life? How can I create that space? I had a client, spiritual direction counseling client for many years. And several years ago, she was married and had one child, and they wanted to add to their family. They wanted to have another baby. And they had been trying for a while, and she had 6 miscarriages. She had 6 devastating miscarriages. And we would talk, and I was constantly say, you don't give up hope. That's the one thing. You what you want is a child. We talked about the possibility of adoption. We talked about different things, and she wasn't always open initially to things. And then she decided to give up attachment. We talked about giving up attachment to how it was going to show up, because what she wanted was a child. What she wanted was an addition to her family, the perfect addition to their family. And so what we started to do was to first of all, I had her create a nursery in her house, create a nursery for the baby that she was ready to welcome into her family. And so she created this nursery, beautiful nursery, and be sure and put a rocking chair in there so that you can sit in there. And that's where you do your spiritual practice every day. That's where you do your meditation. That's where you do your prayer. That's where you do your journaling. Your spiritual practice is to be done in this nursery, because you want this place to be filled with the presence of God. And so I lived in California at the time. She was in California. So sometimes I would go to her house and we'd have our sessions, and we would have our sessions in the nursery, praying this baby in, bringing this baby in. And then I moved back to Ohio, and we had telephone sessions, and we still did our sessions with her being in the nursery and her constantly fixing up this place and creating this room, creating this space for God to show up. Creating this space for God to show up as this child that they've been waiting for so long. And so time passed. We don't let expectancy and patience can go hand in hand. They are not mutually exclusive. We can be expectant and we wait because God knows no time. The only time that God knows is now. The only time that God knows is now. So it doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter how long it's been. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. The only time that God knows is now. And so we continue to do this work together. We continue to do this preparation and create the space for this baby. And then finally, one day she got a call from a friend who knew of a young woman who was pregnant and who was going to be giving birth pretty soon. And she was going to be allowing the baby to be adopted. And so my friend, my client, met with the mother, and they talked. And the first thing that the mother told her was that she wanted to have an open adoption. And initially, my client friend remembered that this was something a week or two before then she would not even have considered. But she said, as this mother was telling her about wanting this open adoption, all she could think about is this baby could never have too much love. That means that there'll be an additional person to love the child. There'll be an additional person to shower this baby with love. And so she agreed to this open adoption. And so they were selected, as she and her husband were selected as the family for the new baby that was to come. And when the mother went into labor, the family was at the hospital, and my client was able to bring the baby home from the hospital, a newborn, bring the baby home and take it into that nursery that had been created and had been waiting in that space, had been waiting for this baby, the perfect baby, the perfect addition for this family, the perfect family for this baby was right there waiting. Everything came together. Everything worked together. And they brought this bundle of joy home. And he has really been a bundle of joy for them. He has really been a wonderful addition. They have really been a bundle of joy for him and this whole family and for the birth mother. All of it works together. All of it works together. He's now 13 years old. And it's unbelievable when sometimes I talk with her on Zoom and I've seen him walk through, and it's just impossible for this little baby to be taller than I am. Well, not taller than I am, but almost as tall as his mother. It's not very hard to be taller than I am. But he's 13 years old, and that's just unbelievable at this point. God just showed up, and God just showed out. He was just, the baby was just, and has been, this child has been a wonderful child. He's been a wonderful addition. He's been very precocious and very smart, just so many things, so much love has been brought into this family's life. So much love has been brought to this child. All of this happens when we have the expectancy. There was no way that she could have known what she was in for when she opened herself up to the very best addition to her family that God could give her. There was no way she could have known how God was going to show up as this baby. There was no way she could know how this whole situation that had started out, she could have been caught up in the experience of having had all the miscarriages and being down and disappointed and doubting that she would ever have an addition to the family. She could have gotten caught up in all that, but she didn't. She didn't. She knew that, God is in the midst of all this. We continue to go through. God is in the midst of all of this. God is working it out. Trust God in all ways, in all things. In all ways, in all things. And create that space for God to show up. And then recognize that the only time God knows is now. And so the only time that God knew then was now. When the baby showed up, it was now. It didn't matter all the years before. It didn't matter what had happened before. It didn't matter all the disappointments and whatever. None of that mattered, because right here, right now was what mattered. And right then and there, right now, for her and for her family and for her daughter, who had the brother that she wanted. It was wonderful. Everything worked out. Everything worked out. That family, that household, that oh, the word isn't coming, but that space was filled to overflowing with God's love. That space that seemed empty was filled to overflowing with God's love, with God's blessings, with God's gift of itself as what they needed, as what they wanted for all concerned. It was for the highest good for all concerned. And so this is what I'm saying to you: create a space, whatever that space may be. It doesn't have to be a nursery. It can be whatever it is. Whatever it is, create a space, and then just know that it is filled with the power and the presence and the love and the light and the peace and the joy and the harmony and the blessings that is God itself. That's how God shows up. And then when we allow that space for God to show up, God shows out, and God shows out by bringing much more than we could have imagined. God shows out by bringing much more than we couldn't even fathom, we couldn't even imagine. She could never have imagined the joy that this family would have experienced with this child, and the joy that this child could have experienced with this family. And that's just one case of so many that we all know. We all know that we can't even imagine. Our physical eye cannot see. We cannot even create the vision ourselves to visualize for the good that God brings into our lives. And that's what expectancy does for us. That's what expectancy does for us. It opens us up. It allows us to turn that bucket right side up and just hold that empty bucket there and just allow it to be filled up with the goodness of God in each and every moment of each and every day. And so what I invite you to do is to remember these things. Leave no stone unturned. Leave no stone unturned. Look around every corner for the goodness of God. Don't be victimized by experience. Don't be victimized by experience. And then create a space for God to show up and to show out. That's what we have to do as we walk this path of relentless expectancy. Be relentless in that expectancy. Be relentless in opening up to the goodness of God and recognizing that God is all there is. The only power, the only presence, the only life. Recognizing that the allness and the fullness of God is right where we are always. Always. And so I'm inviting you to take a breath as we turn within in this moment and just allow ourselves to be filled up with this only power, this only presence, this only mind, this only breath that is our very life. Recognizing that this onlyness that is God is our very life. That the allness and the fullness of God is right where we are always, in each and every moment of each and every day. That there's nothing that can separate us from this allness and this fullness that is God. And we are each made in the image and likeness and out of God itself. Out of God itself. Out of God itself. This mother, father, God principle, this divine mother that nurtures us, that loves us, is our very life. It is our very life. And so just moving into this place of knowing that this is my life, I speak this word for each of us this day. Just knowing that divine mother within each of us is nurturing, is loving, is lifting us up, is right where we are always, is guiding us, is directing us every step of the way. And so we just breathe into this knowing. We breathe into this space. And we just allow this divine mother to have full sway with each of us this day. Just speaking a word of wholeness, speaking a word of healing in the body temple, where there's a need for healing, where there's a need for releasing, letting go of dis-ease of any kind. Just knowing that every organ, cell, tissue, function of a body that needs healing is filled with the radiant healing presence of God. And we just allow that to just be, to take hold right here and right now, just knowing that by the word that's being spoken, healing is happening. Where there's any loss, there's healing. There's healing to broken hearts. There's healing from any sense of loss, healing for anyone who's grieving this day. The great comforter, the divine mother comforts, nurtures, lifts us up, guides, directs, heals that broken heart. Any sense of lack or limitation of any kind is released and let go by that principle of life itself, that is abundance itself, that is prosperity itself, that shows up in our lives as all needs being met in each and every moment of each and every day. Whatever that need may be, God shows up as that thing itself, fulfilling all needs, no matter what we name them. We just move into that place of trust, letting go of doubt, letting go of insecurity, letting go of fear, letting go of anything that could block or hinder. We release, we open up, we let go, we open up and just allow that healing presence of God to be established in each and every life. In each and every life, each and every moment. And so this word goes out to anyone on this planet needing a prayer this day, knowing that right where each one is, the power and the presence of God is. This word goes out to government officials who are in the process of decision making, knowing that God guides every decision, that God guides every choice, that God is working in and through each one for the highest good of all, bringing unity in, but their unity exists in the midst of the apparent division. And so unity is showing up in ways that we could not even imagine. For God is in the midst. And so I just pause now momentarily so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer. You may speak their names silently or loud, and you may speak them now. And so for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I know that God is. I know that God is in the midst of every situation, every circumstance, every event. God is in the midst of it. God is in the midst. God is right where each person is, just as God is right where each of us is, right here and right now, always. There's no way that we can depart from that presence of God. And so I just simply say thank you, Father, Mother God, for the perfect manifestation of the word spoken here this day. Thank you for the wholeness. Thank you for the healing. Thank you for everything. I know that all is well. For I know that all is God. And I just simply allow it to be. I simply allow it to be. And so it is. And so now let us just take a breath together as we move into our conscious giving time. This is our offering time, the time that we give of our tithes and offerings. And as you know, Creative Living Fellowship is a tithing church, and we invite you to participate in this sacred practice with us by tithing right here at Creative Living Fellowship. You can do that by pressing the donate button on our website or clicking the donate links in the chat, or you can text to tithe. However you do, however you give, we certainly appreciate your continued support of Creative Living Fellowship. So why don't we now just say our offering blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God. And so it is. And now here's Charity Lockhart again.
Hey, church family, I'm so excited to be a part of this. Listen, wherever you are, I want you to stand up on your feet and dance with me. Dance and sing. We're going to sing about God's love. All right? Come on, sing with me. All around, everywhere I look, your love is all around, everywhere I look, your love is all around. Say, all around, hey, all around, everywhere I look, your love is all around. Say, all around, lifted me. We sang this when I was a little girl. When nothing else could help, love lifted me. Love lifted me. Love lifted me. Love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me. All around, everywhere, all around, yeah. Your love is all around.
Wow. Was everybody up dancing to that? Yeah, so was I. That was just wonderful. That was the Charity Lockhart Choir. So it was so wonderful. Charity, thank you so much for your beautiful music, your beautiful voice, and your wonderful spirit when you come to visit us here at Creative Living Fellowship. We love having you here, and we can't wait to see you again when you come back. So let's take a breath together, knowing that love is all around. We take that breath as we just breathe in that love that is all around. I just have a couple of closing announcements. And I'd like to remind you, I'm really excited about the Magic of Sanskrit Mantras class that is going to be taught on starting Wednesday by Lena St. Michael's. I can't wait for that class to start. It sounds like it's really, really a wonderful class and something that we can all benefit from. So I invite you to join that class. I invite you to click the link so that you can sign up for it now and just be a part of this class, because we're beginning to move on with our classes and with activities as we start to move toward coming back together in person. But right now we're still doing things online, and this class is one of our online classes. I invite you to connect with us for that. And that starts on Wednesday evening. Also connect with us on Tuesday evening for the Tuesday evening connection call. We're here every Tuesday evening from 6:30 to 7:45. This week we're having conscious conversation. Every other week we do life's purpose visioning, and then every other week we do conscious conversation. So conscious conversation is what we're having this week. I invite you to come out and join us and connect with each other, because the group who comes together on Tuesday evenings, we really, really do have a deep connection, and we'd like to expand that group so that we can connect with all of you. So join us. You don't have to be here in Phoenix because we're in Zoom, and you can be joining us from wherever you are. Right after service today, immediately after service, will be the Zoom prayer room that's open. You can have a prayer with a practitioner by clicking on the link to go into the Zoom prayer room, and there will be individual private rooms for you to pray with the practitioner, or practitioner to pray with you. Those of you who are in the Zoom room now, you'd have to click on the link. You have to leave the room and click on the link to go to pray with the practitioner. And you can also reach a practitioner by reaching out to someone on our on-call practitioner list. That list is in the comments, and it's also on our website. Or you can send an email to practitioners with a prayer request. And practitioners pray over your request for 30 days. The point I'm making is, don't walk around with a heavy heart. Allow the practitioners to serve you by praying for you and just holding a space and holding the truth for you. That they love doing that. That's what they do. And so I invite you to take advantage of the fact that the practitioners are just waiting to hear from you, to pray with you. Immediately after service today, practitioner Jeannie Sovereigns will be hosting the fellowship hour. And that's the time that we come together and for coffee, tea, conversation, spending some time together, time for connection. So I invite you to join Jeannie immediately after service for the fellowship time. And don't forget the treatment for supply. That's our community prayer. And we use that prayer daily. And I invite you to use it twice a day and pray that prayer with expectancy, expecting God's good to come as a result of using the treatment for supply. It works, it really works, but it really works when you work it. And so I'm inviting you to work it. I also invite you to continue to connect with each other. We are still a community of care and connection and love. And we are still a community of caring about each other and connecting with each other. So I invite you to send those cards and letters and emails and text messages and phone calls and whatever it takes to connect with each other and say, I love you, I miss you, can't wait to see you again. And we know that with expectancy that is speeding up that progress, but when we are going to be together again. Meanwhile, stay connected. Know that I love you, I miss you, I can't wait to see you. And I'll see you next week. Take good care. God bless. Now, here's our closing song, I release.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God.